This is an informational video on grade level PBL or project-based learning, and specifically we're going to focus on at the high school how we execute grade level project-based learning. So to illustrate this, I'm going to start by drawing a bus, and the bus is going to represent the idea of getting the students on board with the project idea. And that activity is called the entry event, also known as the grabber. And this event, the entry event, should create excitement around the idea of the project. It should catch the students' attention and something they should be able to refer back to throughout their project work. So next I'll draw this road here, and as we get the students on the bus, so to speak, they're going to go down this road that leads to our culminating event at the end. And I'm going to go ahead and put an emphatic circle around the culminating event to emphasize the idea that this is a very important part of our project. But let's go back to the road, and I'll write out driving question, because that's what our road represents. That is our driving question. This should be something that the students continue to refer back to and try to answer as they complete their project work. It should be open-ended. There's no right or wrong answer. As students complete their work, they should be thinking about the question, how does what I am doing relate to the driving question? Now that our bus is headed down the road with our driving question, it's going to take several detours, and you'll see here our first detour is going to be our math connection. And then here we got another detour, and I'm going to draw a beaker. This is going to represent our science connection. So each one of these detours is a curriculum tie-in to our driving question, to our grade level project. Each one of these classroom connections should not be a full PBL project. The process I'm outlining in this overview is the entire process of a traditional PBL project. So each one of these connections, so we just did history, now we're going to go in and I'll draw a book, and this will be our English tie-in. So each one of these tie-ins is a classroom connection back to our grade level project. And each classroom connection should cover your course's curriculum, but do it in a way that refers back to the driving question and gives students the opportunity to practice persisting, thinking flexibly, striving for accuracy, creating and innovating, interdependent thinking, and questioning, all components of good project work. We've made each one of these detours. Now that brings us to our roundabout. And so at some point we have to have students, whether that's through advisory or through their English class or another class, but at some point they need to go around this roundabout and synthesize all the information from their different connections to the driving question. They have to reflect, look back at each one of those questions. So they're going round and round, they're looking at the work that they did in each one of their courses, and they're taking time to reflect. So after they reflect on each one of those connections, they need to select what it is they're going to produce and show at the culminating event, whatever that event may be. So the culminating event, it's very important that this is a public display of their work. It needs to be meaningful, not just a presentation to their classmates, but it also needs to be real, something that would likely take place in the real world.